Good evening, good evening. Well, better late than never. This is Kat with Kat's Pocket. I'm going to go over some of my sales from August. I will do a September what sold video probably next week, but for now I'm going to go over August because I have been a little bit behind. And so we'll go ahead and get started here. These are some of the items that sold in August. These are some Minnetonka women's trapper plaid slippers. They are faux fur lined. I picked these up for just $2. They were new without tags and they sold for $17.06. I did accept an offer from the buyer on these. And this is a Starbucks, I think it's a city mug collector. And this mug represents, I guess, France. And this is the collector series mug, oversized. I picked this up for 79 cents. It sold for $14.39. I don't always pick up mugs. I will pick them up if they look vintage, and I just kind of go with my gut on mugs. I've actually sold quite a few of them. So mugs are a good thing to start out with if you do want to start to sell, but you don't want to spend a lot of money. And you can look up the item on Google Lens and see if it's a good item to pick up. But for me, a lot of times I do find mugs that I can't find using Google Image because they are old or they just are unique and rare. And I go ahead and get them anyway, just based on just my gut. And they usually sell pretty well. So if you have a good feeling about it and they're 79 cents, it doesn't hurt to pick it up and try to flip it for a profit. You could probably always get your money back for 79 cents anyway. Okay, and this is another one of those Play School Dollhouse dolls. This is the redhead, the mother, and this was an item that I picked up in one of those bulk grab bags where they have like several items in a bag for like $3. And this is probably the third one that I've sold. And I've already made over $50 on just that little bag that I picked up for $3. So never overlook those little bags that have just all kinds of odds and ends in them. Sometimes you can sort them out and flip them for a good profit. This sold for $9.35. I spent probably 10 cents on it. This is a set of vintage Capo di Monte style white porcelain table lamps with roses. Now these vintage lamps that have the little appliques of roses and flowers on them, you want to be really careful because most of the time when I've seen these, those little flowers that are on them are broken. Some of them are broken. So you want to really look them over very carefully and make sure that they're all in order, good shape. These ones were in amazing shape. I did have these listed higher than this. I think I had them listed for $125. I did accept an offer from the buyer, and my buying cost for these lamps was $7 for the pair of them. So a good, nice profit. I think I did promote these, and I don't know why I did, because these types of lamps, kind of like the shabby chic style, they usually sell quite quickly, and I didn't need to promote them and give eBay even more of my money, but I think I did that. So I think my profit ended up being almost $100 with the shipping. So it turned out to be a nice profit for me. And here's what they look like kind of up close. I think I had some lamps similar to this, but mine were more of like the hobnail style. And this is a little hummingbird pewter tin. It is the brand Metzig, and I think it is made in Germany. I could be wrong, but a little tin that I picked up for, I think it was $1, and it sold quite quickly for $12.79. Here is a set of Pioneer Woman spring bouquet sprinkler can ceramic salt and pepper shakers. I think I spent $2 on these, and I wouldn't pick these up necessarily again. Sometimes Pioneer Woman can actually be a really good flip because some of the items can go pretty high. I did sell a rolling pin, I believe, for $50, and I sold, what else did I say? A table runner and I think a spoon rest. But some of the items are just very oversaturated, and this set of salt and pepper shakers happened to be one of them that there was just a lot of them, so I happily accepted an offer just to move them and make a profit on them. And this is a little Mexican apron dress. It's handmade and hand embroidered. These are very common for a lot of like Mexican households. They wear these just as aprons. I thought this one was really nice. I knew I wouldn't make a ton of money on this, but the little details on them were just too fun for me to just pass up. I really thought these were like super cute. It reminded me of like the 70s, of like the little dresses that the girls wore. But this actually did sell quite quickly, even though it wasn't a huge profit. And let's go back here. So yeah, it sold for $15.98. I think I spent around $2 or $3 on it. And we'll go back here. This is a Wild Republic Timber Wolf realistic plush laying down a stuffed animal, a huge 40-inch jumbo size. This is one of the plushes that I picked up on that plush challenge. I think I have sold every single one of the plushes in that plush challenge where I challenged myself to pick up and flip plush. So I will never overlook picking up plush, especially if I just want to like have something quick to list. Plush stuffed animals are very easy to list. They're easy to store and they're pretty easy to ship. So this one I actually did ship out in a box because it was just that big. And I picked this up for $4.29 and it sold for $44.99. And it sold rather quickly. I think it took me less than 2 weeks to sell it. Here's what he looks like, kind of like all sprawled out. And this is a Agan Traders medieval vintage asymmetrical net Renaissance top. This top I've had for like, I don't know, a couple of months. I picked this up during, I think, the beginning of summer, so it was probably June or July. And I saw another one that sold for that price, the $24.50, so I listed it at that price. I got so many lowball offers on this blouse. People were sending me $5, $10, and I just kept on rebuttaling. I think I was rebuttaling like $14.99, $19.99, like that. I think I paid $2 for this, but I kept just rejecting the offers or rebuttaling, and then finally somebody just came along and picked it up and paid full price, which I was shocked about. It's actually not even a gray blouse. It was actually kind of like a purple blouse. So I copied another person's title, and that's the thing. You have to really be careful about piggybacking off of someone else's listing, because when you do that, you have to actually correct all of the little details, and sometimes it's very easy to overlook a detail, and I did certainly do that in this case, although I did have the description written out saying that it was a purple blouse. But you just never know. People could, send it back, refusing it, or, returning it, saying that it was an inaccurate description, and that would be totally my fault. But luckily the buyer kept it and knew that it was definitely a purple blouse and not a gray blouse. Okay. And this is a little Hallmark Catacorn black cat plush Halloween. Definitely one that I picked up in that same plush haul as the Timber Wolf I just showed you. And I picked this up for $2. When I picked it up, I had no idea how oversaturated it was. This is one that I didn't look up. I just threw it in the cart. And I knew that Hallmark can actually do really well. And Halloween was coming up, so I just grabbed it. But it unfortunately is so oversaturated. so many of these. So I decided to lower the price on it and get it sold really fast, which I did. So I still made about $6 or $7 on it. So not a loss for me, but I probably wouldn't pick this up again. But maybe I would if it was $1 or $2, because it was really super quick to list and ship. And these are a pair of Pottery Barn Green Fern Euro pillow shams. I picked these up for just $3.79 for the pair. They were brand new without the tags, and someone bought them quickly for $49.99. I actually wanted to pull them down and retake the photos because the pictures were horrible. They had a lot of yellow on the right side, and it was just a lighting issue. I was too lazy to adjust the lighting or bring out the, I do have a lighting setup, and I just thought the sun would be bright enough. But anyway, nevertheless, I did have to disclose that in the listing and just say that the pictures may look discolored on one side, but it's a complete lighting issue, that they are brand new. And luckily the buyer believed me and bought them full price, and I was really happy about that. Okay, and these are a pair of Heath Zenith wall mount brass motion sensing outdoor lanterns, set of 2. These were actually some lamps that I bought for my house in California, but I never put them up. They were new in the box, and then we actually installed them here for a little while. And then I decided to gift some brand new ones in a black color. And so we took these down, and they were almost like new, and I just kind of wiped them down a little bit. And the buyer actually sent me a message wanting to know if I could lower the price on them. But because I was doing free shipping on these, which I felt I had to do because when I looked at the comps, all the other lanterns like this came with free shipping. So that's the only time I break my rule about offering free shipping. If 100% of the comps are coming back that there's free shipping, then I feel like I have to be competitive and also offer free shipping. But I was not having any of it to lower the price. So I did message the buyer back and tell him, like, these lamps are in really good condition. They were only used for a few months, and you know, I am doing free shipping on them, and so for me to be able to make a profit, I can't lower the price anymore. So then he came back with all these rules of how he wanted them packed and how he wanted them sent, and that he wanted me to message him when I shipped them. He had all these rules for me, which I was fine with, and I usually will pack my items like this that have glass with foam anyway. But anyway, he did finally give me a nice review, so all was good. But my profit on these ended up being about $50 after the shipping. I think I shipped these out UPS. And these are a pair of gold toe women's cardigan boot socks in an ombre color. I picked these up for just 50 cents, and they sold for $8. I did have these listed for $10, and I really just thought they were like good socks, and I knew that they would sell and be easy to ship and store and list and etc., etc. So I would pick those up again if I got them for a great price like that. Okay, and these are a pair of Bass Weejuns burgundy leather tassel kitty, does it say kilty dress loafers, men's. And I picked these up for half off. So these were just $7, and I did flip them for $45. I was very happy with that. They did take a little bit to sell. I think I got these in May. And so, yeah, it took about 3 months to sell. This is a Mikasa Poppy Love pattern vintage picture. This is a very beautiful, delicately made picture. I loved these as soon as I saw them. They were in that California poppy pattern. Very rare. I think mine were the only ones listed. I actually did find a whole grouping of other items, which I did pick up. And they had some little dishes. I think the only dishes that they had were the little tea saucers And I decided not to get those. I decided to stick with the nicer, bigger pieces, which they weren't big. When I say big, I'm talking about 4 to 5 inches. Even this right here, this item was probably about 5 inches tall for this picture. So anyway, I decided to list them a little bit higher than I would other items like this, or Mikasa brand items, I should say, because they were so rare and because they were so beautiful. They had no damage. They were very nice. But anyway, this picture I picked up for probably $3.79. I know I didn't pay more than $4 for it. And I listed it for $39.98, and it sold within a couple of weeks. And then, well, I guess it's not on here. I sold other items as well, but I think those are going to be on September's What Sold video, so watch for that. This item right here is a vintage Windmere Skinny Mini 3/8 curling brush, ball tip bristle in the color orange. It was kind of like supposed to be red, but it looked orange to me. And there is the product number. Now, this item I found for just $4.29, and I was so excited when I saw it because I instantly thought this is going to bring good money. And sure enough, it did. This item was the only one like its kind. There were others that were not new with box, and there were others that were actually in the white color. And I got all kinds of lowball offers on this item, which kind of made me nervous, to be honest, because I hadn't seen any sold comps for this. So I was just taking a guess that I needed to price this up. And so I had no idea. And so I listed it at $133.99. I got a lot of offers for $10, $15, and then the highest one I got was for $30. And then finally somebody put a watcher on it, and I sent them an offer of 20% off, which I think came to like $99. And she came back and responded with a message, and she wanted to know if this was working because she had purchased another one and was very disappointed because it was broke. And I reassured her that yes, it was in working condition, that I did test it, and it had the original plastic wrap inside. And she was really excited, and she went ahead and purchased it for that price. I think it was $99 was my actual sold price on this. And she wrote me a really nice review. She was very happy with it. So always look for these old vintage styling items. The higher end ones, like the Windmere, not so much the Conair and things like that, I guess. But anyway, I was really excited. This was a good sell. It did take, a little bit, not too long, but it took a little bit to sell it. But I was excited. I stuck to my guns, and I didn't second guess myself with the price. And these are a pair of A. Giannetti women's wedge thongs made in Italy. As soon as I saw these, I knew these were good, and they were half price. I only paid $2 for these, but I was so bummed because even though they looked brand new, which was good, they had been worn, but they looked really new. And I like to pick up shoes that look new or are new. I don't like to mess with any type of yucky stuff or trying to list it with all these flaws. And here's a flaw right here, and there's also a flaw right there, and there's some dirt here. I don't want to do that, but it's too time consuming. Unless it brings if it brought over $50, I probably would do that if it was worth it to sell something that worn that people were actually buying. But I typically try to avoid any type of flaws or issues. But go ahead, guys, I pick up flawed items all the time. It's just part of this business. Unfortunately, you're going to be picking up things that look really pretty in the store, and you get them home and you discover a chip or it's missing something, and it's really frustrating. But it's just part of the job. You can't get angry with yourself over it. But these here were missing a rhinestone. Ugh. They had little rhinestones all along the toe line, and one of them happened to be missing. And I was so frustrated, and I thought these are not going to sell because here it is, summer, and it's almost the end of the summer and they haven't moved because I had to disclose all this stuff. And then finally, somebody sent me an offer for $10 and I took it in a heartbeat. Even though if it didn't have the missing rhinestone, these would have went for over $20. But because of that, I spent $2 and sold them for $10. I did get my money back. I think with the shipping, I think I made about $8 or a little over $8. So all wasn't lost, but yeah, I always get frustrated when I see a flaw and then it's like too late for me to return it. Or sometimes I do pick up items and there's no returns whenever they're on sale. Like these were half off, so there wouldn't have been any return option anyway. Okay, and this is a vintage baby doll. This is a Ralph, I'm not going to say this right, Friendlich? I have no idea. Okay, but this is a 1930s early American doll. This took me quite a while to research it. I had no idea who the maker was on this. I'd never heard of him. I had to research him, which I did. There's a nice little story about him. And I had to research this particular doll, and I did find the doll. I found the doll in the Caucasian version. I knew that the black baby doll was going to be rare because I couldn't find it anywhere, and I only found one of the Caucasian dolls, and I don't know, it wasn't for sale. So anyway, I decided to list this higher. It was a larger doll as well. This doll did have some issues. I decided to get it anyway. My buying cost for this was just over $4. I think it was $4.49 or 29 cents. And the employee at the store, I know all of the girls who work at this one particular thrift store, and they're so awesome and kind. And she came up to me and was showing me this doll, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is such a rare doll. And it had lots of damage on it, but I thought this is something like almost like historical, and went ahead and decided to get it. It did have some issues, and I'll show you that in the next few pictures. This is also called a googly-eyed doll. The eyes on this doll kind of move, kind of googly-eyed. And the dress, although I don't believe this was original to the doll, it was 100% linen and it was all embroidered. And I thought that actually added some value because people are usually looking for linen. This was actually a vintage linen gown. It looked homemade, and the feet and the hands were this kind of rubbery material, but it was like, it's hard to explain it. It wasn't like a normal rubber. I had never really seen this type of rubber on a doll. A little quilted, or I should say embroidered hearts and flowers. And here's the back of the head. As you can see, there's quite a bit of damage. And it did have a leg that was missing, which was really upsetting. But I knew that somebody could completely, with some tender loving care, could make this doll be like whole again. So I'm not one of those, but somebody is talented like that. It actually had a little box right here, which indicates to me that it actually made some sound. And when I did research it, indeed it does. It's supposed to anyway. When you pick it up, it either cries or it says mama, which this one did. But unfortunately that was not working, that little mechanism. Had some little tie undergarments. And let me go back here. So this doll, so this doll actually sold for the full price, you guys. I could not believe it. I actually sold this already once. I don't know if I think I said the story in another video, so I won't deep dive into it. But I sold this doll for, I believe it was like $55 on an offer I sent out to a watcher, and she bought it. But then when I saw how much eBay was charging her in the shipping, I told her I was going to cancel the sale and fix the shipping on it so that it would save her money. She got confused, or scared away or something, and she didn't come back and buy it. And then she left me a review. It was actually a really good review, but I was like, why is she leaving me a review on an item she didn't actually purchase? Anyway, so back to the drawing board, I had to relist this doll. So from May, because the first sale of this doll was in May, all the way to August is when it sold again. And I actually relisted it higher. After I did some research on it, I researched it higher and thought, well, I'm just going to like take an offer. So I relisted it at $88. And then as part of my delisting and relisting, which I do every morning, I delist in bulk about 100 to 200 items and I relist them, because that's what you do to get the items to recirculate in the algorithms and show up as a new item. So I decided to increase the price at $106 because this wasn't selling. And sometimes if you increase the price on things, sometimes they sell. Sure enough, this sold for the full asking price of $106. I think the buyer spent about $175 with the shipping and everything. So this was definitely a really good sell. And the buyer ended up telling me that she ended up sending me a message after she got the doll, and my heart's like beating because I'm going, oh no, like anytime you receive a message like that after something's been purchased, it's usually not good. And indeed, the buyer said, this doll is missing the leg. And I said, oh yes, it's in the description that her leg came detached and it would need to be sewed back on. And she said, well, no, it's not in the it's not here. And I said, oh, it's underneath the paper. So she was panicking, I was panicking, and she found the doll. And then she sent me a lovely picture, I think it was a few days later, of how she dressed the doll and she made the doll look amazing and beautiful. And she actually owns an African heritage museum and in Georgia. And so she had this doll for her museum, and I thought, oh, that's so like special. And if I would have known that, I probably would have offered her a really good price on it, but I didn't know that until after the fact. But anyway, moving on to the next one here. I'll have to go a little bit faster so I don't run out of video here. This is a vintage 1966 Coates and Clark's Barbie doll pattern book. My buying cost was 25 cents on this item, and I did sell it for $13. And it did come with all of the little inserts as well. Somebody had, like from a long time ago, I think from the 1960s, because that's how old the paper looked, they had written out all these different dimensions, and I included all of that with the book. Here is a Jellycat Snow Dragon. This is another plush that I sold with that plush haul, or I should say this is another plush I picked up in that plush haul for $4.29. And this one is one that I got like spammy messages on eBay of like all these people were messaging me telling me this was a fake Jellycat, and totally made me second guess myself because I had never sold Jellycats before. So I had to pull the item and I had to look it over and I had to do all this research on it. And I retook all the photos that included all the tags. There's probably like 8 tags on this Jellycat. And so I retook the photos and included all the little tags that were on the plush, and basically had to tell those people that this is a real Jellycat. And I ended up blocking them. The only thing that good that came out of those messages, other than, you know, me feeling like I had something valuable or they wouldn't be messaging me, was that I did so much research that I figured out that was worth more, a little bit more than I had it listed for. And I upped the price by $10 and it sold the next day after I increased the price. So there you go again. Sometimes increasing the price is the way to go. Okay. And this is, oh, did I say it's sold for $64.99? Here is a set of human Touch, Treat It With Love, mugs, Valentine long distance romance cups. I've had these cups for over a year. My buy-in cost was 79 cents each for them. I just liked them. They just were cute. And I've been in a long distance relationship before. And so now I'm not, but anyway, I just thought these were super cute and I just liked the idea of them. So I had to pick them up. They finally did sell. They did sell for a full price of $21.99. The buyer was super happy and left me a nice review. And these are a pair of Allen Edmonds Lugano Venetian loafers. I did pick these up for about $9.99. I did pay up for these a little bit. And I did have these listed for more. I think I had these priced up at $64.99. And the buyer had messaged me, he had sent me offers before, like low offers of like $30, $35. And I knew it was the same person. And so he wrote me a message and said, will you take $45 on these shoes? And I wrote him back and I said, I appreciate your interest. However, these are very nice shoes. They look much better in person, and I'm not going to go any lower than $50. So I sent him a $50 offer with that message, and boom, he bought them for $50 and wrote me a really nice review admitting that they were very nice shoes. Allen Edmonds are typically nice shoes. They're known for having nice shoes. However, some of them can just be like the same repetitive style over and over, and these ones were different. There was something about these that were a little bit different. They were a little bit like more sophisticated, nicer, they just looked really nice, and the leather was like butter on these. Okay, this is a vintage Homco Sirocco flower butterfly wall plaque. These Siroccos can do really well. Here's a tip: if you do see these, they usually go for like, just a couple of dollars, and they can sell really well. The key is to make sure that they're the gold ones, or the ones that have the white on them and the gold. The brown ones and the pink ones, they are not as highly sought after. So because right now the whole what is it called? Not mid-century. These are mid-century modern. Oh, the Hollywood Regency style is really big right now. So think gold. The gold ones do well. These ones did have gold and white on them. However, they did have some breakage, which I had to disclose, which brought the value down. If they didn't have the breakage, I'd probably sell these for about $70 to $80 because those were the larger ones. I actually sold them a lot less expensive because of the damage. They were also a pain in the butt to ship. Like, you don't want to ship these, not the big ones. I don't want to pick these up again. I have one more actually that I have to sell, but I would not pick them up unless they were so amazing and the comps on them were just out of this world. And, I would ship them. These ones here with the damage, just because they're so big, I don't want to ship these again. The buyer left me a great review and was happy with the way that I had packed them to ensure that there was no more breakage. Okay, here is a set of Pier 1 Imports salt and pepper shakers. It's a dog in the hydrant. Another one of those items that I just wanted to move really fast because it was so saturated. There's a lot of these. So I dropped my price below everyone else's, got them sold. I think my profit on these was a little over $8. Here is a Catherine's women's blouse. I've had this for a while, decided to hurry up and move it. I did accept an offer of $14. My buying cost was $3. Here is a pair of Stuart Weitzman Tomas wingtip patent leather shoes. I did accept an offer on these. I had these priced up to $63 and decided it was time to move them. Stuart Weitzman can be hit or miss. Some of them can bring really good money, like over $100. and some of them can bring $20. So these ones were pretty rare. I didn't see any others like them. I did see some that sold on Poshmark for $59, but just keep in mind that just because it sold once for somebody for a certain price doesn't mean another person is going to be willing to spend that same amount of money. And for me, it's always best to just move it if you're going to make a good profit. My buying cost for these was just $6. My profit was a little over $35. Here is a pair of Merrell Ortholite slip-on leather loafer shoes. My buying cost was just $2 for these. I accepted an offer from a buyer for $20. And here's that Pioneer women's spoon rest that I talked about. And I did accept an offer of $16. This was brand new. My buying cost was just $2. Here is a Meniere open front lace cardigan, bell sleeve summer spring, little lacy, pretty cardigan. This item I bought for $3 and I had this listed for a very long time. Somebody came along and spent full price on it, which I was really happy about. And here is a Catherine's sheer layered blouse in the dark and light blue, long sleeve tunic. I bought this blouse for just $3 and it sold for $16. So my profit after my cost of goods and eBay fees and any promoted listing fees, I probably had this promoted at 3%. So I'm just guessing my profit on this was probably about $10. Okay, and there's one more. Okay, so these are my Poshmark sells here. This is an Oscar de la Renta little nightie. I picked this up for just $1, you guys. That vintage lingerie, vintage negligees in certain brands like Oscar de la Renta, and there's some other ones as well. But anyway, this one was just $1 and it sold for $40. This is another one that I saw sell for $60 on eBay. I didn't feel like mine was in as nice of a condition, so I let it go for $40. I'm happy with that. $1 in and a $40 profit, not bad. These are a pair of Johnny Was silk butterfly pants. These are so beautiful. They have little slits down the legs and they have like a little tie. Airplane. These are some pants that I sourced at is it Saks Fifth Avenue? I think it was Saks Fifth Avenue online, and they were just $40, and I got the last pair. They were like a drop down clearance or whatever you call it, markdown clearance, and they were only $40. And I thought, I'll get those for me. And then I got them and I never wore them, and I thought I'll just list those, and I listed them and they sold for $100. So I was really happy about that sale, especially being that it was like towards the end of summer. And I wanted them to sell for sure before winter because they're not really a winter item. And these are some, is this Pier 1 Imports or is this Pottery Barn? I think this is Pier 1 Imports little Sea Life swizzle sticks. I bought these for $2 and they sold for $16. I think I accepted an offer. They were listed for $20. And this is a pair of Lucky Brand canvas and leather flats. These were brand new. I only spent $4 for these and they sold for $25. They were in a brown color, but I really thought they were like, that's like a nude. If you're like this color, that would be nude for you. So I thought, those would do really well. And this is a Knox Rose little gauzy dress that I've had for over a year and accepted an offer of $15. My buying cost for that dress was $2. And here is I'm not going to remember the name of this purse. It's one thing on Poshmark listings, they don't have the name on the purse. But This purse, excuse me, I wanted to keep this for myself, but I didn't really need it. My son Hunter used to always say, Mom, you don't need any more purses, okay? You don't need any more purses. I definitely don't need any more purses. But this was a really cool one because this part right here folds over. And so you can wear it as a little cross body bag with this flap folding over, or you can carry it right here with the handle. And I wish I remembered the name of this, but I don't. But they just didn't comp that high. I was shocked when the buyer came along and paid full price for this because they only comp for about $25. But on Poshmark, you know, everyone always marks their prices up because buyers always want you to send them an offer and a discounted shipping and yada, yada, yada. So I had this marked up expecting to send the buyer an offer or her send me an offer, but she just bought it full price and I was really happy, even though I wanted to keep it for myself. But anyway, my buy-in cost was $4 for that. Here's a pair of Talbots, and this is like tortoise shell toes and velvet all through here. Really nice shoes and nice. Talbots is a really good company. They have really good quality shoes and they're kind of like mid-range, like they're not super expensive, but they're not like Target or Walmart, you know. So these I picked up for $4. They sold for $34. This is a beautiful Cynthia Raleigh embroidered jeweled pillow. My buying cost was just $2. It sold for $31. I'm trying to hurry because I'm running out of videotape here. This is a Anthropologie half moon purse. I was kind of bummed because I paid up for this. I paid like $10 for this purse, thinking it was going to sell for more because originally it was $248. But it didn't. It just sat and sat and sat. So when someone sent me an offer for $50, I went ahead and took it. My total profit on this was just around $30. And these are a pair of Lucky brand leather boots, red leather boots. Who doesn't love red leather boots, right? My buying cost for these was, I believe I paid up for these too. I think they were $12 and they sold for $38. This is a pair of Mootsies Tootsies, kind of like dress sandals. They have little ankle wraps. My buy-in cost was $4. They sold for $23. This is a pair of Dansko shoes. These had tons of wear. Another one of those items that I picked up and didn't realize just how much wear they had. So I dropped the price just to get them sold. My cost of goods was $3. They sold for $17. And when I'm giving you guys this price, just remember that is the price before Poshmark takes their fees out. So these were my shoes that I had forever. So they're actually vintage or at least retro. These are some New Balance shoes. And I actually remember I bought these secondhand a long time ago because I couldn't afford these. And they were, I don't remember how much I paid for them, but not very much. But anyway, they sold for $25. And this is a Forever 21 blouse. And it has a really pretty print. My buying cost was $3. I accepted an offer of $14. I would have held out for more, but it was the end of summer and I always take offers at the end of each season just to clear out my seasonal inventory. Here is another Talbots velvet dress blouse. I would say it's kind of like lined. I hate to call it a blouse because it's so thick, but it had all this embroidery in it. And I had it listed, I think, kind of high. And then the buyer sent me an offer of $33 and I accepted it. My buying cost was $7. And this is a little Tweety Bird vintage t-shirts. It says Everybody Loves a Cowgirl on it. My buying cost was just $2 and it sold for $20 on Depop. This was one of my first sales on, actually no, this was my first sale on Depop. So I was all happy because that was my goal, was to sell something on Depop. I also sold these on Depop. My buying cost was actually free. I have a friend who gave these to me. And They sold for $35. They're a pair of men's Reebok Sublight tennis shoes. They would go for more normally, but I was just trying to kind of get my reputation built up on Depop, so I took an offer on those. Here's another pair of Dansko boots. These I also accepted an offer. This was my third sell on Depop, and these sold for $73. No, I'm sorry, $78. Can't see. And my buying cost was just $6 for those. Got lots of views on those. Okay. I was trying to hurry because I have like a minute of my tape left. So that's it for what sold in August. I will do another what sold video for September, probably next week. I'm really behind. I'm trying to list my little heart out and get things all up for the fall. And I have been busy moving stuff to my storage unit as well. And everything has just been kind of like very, very busy. busy. So, but everything's been good other than that. Sales have been slow. Summer slowdown was a beast. It's no joke. So hopefully things are going to start picking up now that it is October. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful evening and doing something fun with the people that you love. And I will talk to you again soon. Bye.